The two suns of the planet Kalos Prime were setting. The sky turned red and orange like fire. Below, the battlefield was quiet now. The fighting had stopped hours ago. Bodies lay everywhere. Broken machines burned and sent black smoke into the air. The smell of death was strong. In the middle of this terrible place, something moved. It was big. Very big. The creature was called a warhound. The alien empire known as the Valari had made these beasts for war. They took normal animals and changed them. Made them bigger, stronger, smarter. They put armor under their skin. They gave them weapons built into their bodies. They made them into perfect killing machines. This warhound was named Unit 7 Kira. She was the size of a small truck. She had 6 powerful legs, but 3 of them were broken now. Her body was covered in thick armor plates, but many were cracked and falling off. Blue blood leaked from dozens of wounds. Her eyes glowed soft purple, but the light was getting weaker. Kira tried to move. Pain shot through her whole body. She made a small sound. It was not a growl or a roar. It was a whimper, a sound of pain and fear. In her 11 years of life, she had never made such a sound. Warhounds did not show weakness. Warhounds did not feel fear. That is what her handlers always told her, but her handlers were gone now. Kira remembered the battle. It had been terrible. The enemy, a species called the Kreth, had brought more soldiers than expected. The Valari army started losing. Kira had fought hard. She had killed many enemies. She had protected her handlers when they were in danger. She had taken wounds that were meant for them. Then the order came to retreat. The Valari soldiers ran to their ships. Kira tried to follow, but her legs were too damaged. She fell. She called out to her handlers for help. They looked at her. Then they turned away and kept running. She called again. Louder this time. Please, help me. Do not leave me here. But they left. The ships flew away. And Kira was alone. That was when the pain came. Not from her wounds. This was different. It started in her head, behind her eyes. Her whole body began to shake. She could not control it. Her muscles locked up. She could not breathe. The termination sequence. Her handlers had activated it. When a warhound could not be saved, the handlers would send a signal to kill it. This way, the enemy could not capture it, could not study it, could not use it. Kira was dying. Not from the battle. Not from the battle. Her own masters were killing her, but something went wrong with the signal. Maybe the damage to her body blocked it. Maybe the machines inside her were too broken. The termination sequence started, but it did not finish. Kira felt like she was being torn apart from inside. Then it stopped. She was still alive. Barely. Now she lay in the dirt, watching the suns go down. Small flying machines circled above her. Scavenger drones. They were waiting for her to die so they could take her body apart for useful pieces. Kira thought about her life. 11 years of service. 11 years of following orders. She had been a good warhound. She had done everything her handlers asked. She had never questioned, never complained, never disobeyed. And this was her reward. Thrown away like broken equipment. She wondered if this was what all warhounds felt at the end. This loneliness, this sadness, this feeling that none of it mattered. All the killing, all the pain, all the loyalty. None of it meant anything to the Valari. She was just a tool. And when a tool breaks, you throw it away. The sky grew darker. The temperature dropped. Kira shivered. She was so cold. So tired. She closed her eyes. Maybe it was better this way. Maybe death would be peaceful. At least she would not have to kill anymore. Then she heard something. Footsteps. But not like Valari footsteps. Valari had thin legs with hard claws that clicked on the ground. These footsteps were heavier, softer, like boots on dirt. Kira opened her eyes. She saw figures coming toward her. They walked on two legs. They were small compared to Valari. They wore strange armor she did not recognize. They carried weapons, but the weapons were pointed down, not at her. One of the figures slid down into the crater where Kira lay. It was a male. He had dark hair and a flat face with small eyes. He looked at Kira with an expression she did not understand. It was not fear. It was not anger. It was not the cold, empty look her handlers always had. "Holy hell," the creature said. His voice was strange, warm. "It's still alive." Another one came down. A female. She had similar features to the male. She carried equipment that looked medical. "Sarge, we should go," a voice called from above. "That thing is dangerous." The male did not move. He came closer to Kira. She should attack. That is what warhounds do. Kill the enemy. Protect yourself. But she was so tired. And something about this creature made her hesitate. "It's not going to hurt us," the male said. "Look at it. It's dying." The female ran some kind of machine over Kira's body. Her face changed. Became sad. Multiple fractures. Internal bleeding. Neural damage. She paused. Someone tried to kill it remotely? A termination signal. But it didn't work completely. Its own people did this? The male sounded angry. But not at Kira. At someone else. Looks like it. The male kneeled down near Kira's head. She could kill him easily. One bite, but she did not want to. She just looked at him, trying to understand what he was. "Hey there," he said softly. "It's okay. We're not going to hurt you." Kira had heard many words in her life. Commands, orders, threats, but never words like these. Gentle words. Kind words. She did not know how to respond. "What are we going to do, Hyan?" the female asked. The male called Hyan stood up. He looked at his team above the crater. Then he looked back at Kira. "We're going to save it," he said. Kira did not understand. She was the enemy. She was a weapon. She had killed so many. Why would these strange creatures want to save her? But as the small beings began to work around her, talking in their strange language, bringing equipment and supplies, Kira felt something she had never felt before. Hope. Staff Sergeant Park Hyan had seen many strange things in his 5 years with the United Earth Coalition military. He had visited 12 different planets. He had met aliens that looked like insects, like fish, like nothing he could describe. But he had never seen anything like this creature lying broken in the crater before him. The warhound was massive. Even lying down, it was taller than Hyan. Its body was covered in dark gray plates that looked like natural armor. Some plates were cracked. Some were missing completely. Blue blood pooled beneath it. Its 6 legs were bent at wrong angles. 3 were clearly broken. Its face was long, like a wolf mixed with something reptilian. 2 large eyes glowed with faint purple light. Those eyes watched Hyan. They were intelligent eyes, aware, afraid. "Sarge, this is crazy," Private First Class Kim Soo-bin said. She stood at the edge of the crater, her rifle ready. "We don't know anything about this thing. It could be playing dead, waiting for us to get close." Hyan understood her fear. Warhounds were famous across the galaxy. The Valari used them in every battle. A single warhound could kill 100 soldiers. They were fast. They were strong. They felt no pain, or so people said. They followed orders without question and never stopped until the enemy was dead. But this one was different. Hyan could see it in its eyes. This was not a monster waiting to attack. This was a living being that was hurt and scared and alone. "Ji-hai, what else can you tell me?" Hyan asked his medic. Corporal Yoon Ji-hai studied her scanner. She was small, even for a human, but she was the best medic Hyan had ever worked with. She could save lives that others would give up on. The damage is severe, but not impossible to treat. The biggest problem is this termination implant. It's in its brain. It keeps trying to restart the kill sequence. Every few minutes, it sends another signal. Can you stop it? I would need to remove it surgically. I've never operated on anything like this before. Ji-hai looked at the warhound, but I can try. Lieutenant Cho Yun-woo's voice came through the communication device. Park, what are you doing down there? We have orders. Observe and report. That's all. We are not here to interfere. Hyan pressed his communication button. Lieutenant, with respect, I'm not leaving this creature to die. It's a weapon, Sergeant. A biological weapon. The Valari made it to kill. Do you know how many people that thing has probably murdered? Yes, sir. I know. Hyan looked at the warhound. Its eyes had not left him. But it didn't choose to be what it is. The Valari made it this way. And then they threw it away like garbage. That's not right. There was silence on the communication line. Then Private Beek Donghayan spoke up. Sarge, I agree with the lieutenant. We could start a war over this. The Valari might see it as theft, or an act of aggression. The Valari tried to kill it themselves, Hyan said. They abandoned it. As far as they're concerned, it's already dead. More silence. Then Lieutenant Cho sighed. If this goes wrong, Park, it's on your head. Not mine. Understood, sir. Hyan turned to Ji-hai. Get your equipment. We're bringing it with us. The next hour was difficult. The warhound was heavy. Very heavy. Even with the gravity lifting equipment they had, moving it was hard work. The creature whimpered several times during the process. Each sound made Hyan's heart hurt. Such a powerful being, reduced to this. They loaded it onto their cargo shuttle. It took up most of the space. Hyan sat near its head while Ji-hai prepared her medical equipment. I'm going to give you something for the pain, Ji-hai told the creature. She did not know if it understood her, but she talked to it anyway. This might feel strange, but it will help. She injected something into the warhound's neck. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the creature's tense body relaxed a little. Its breathing became easier. Good, Ji-hai said. That's good. You're doing great. Subin watched from the corner, her rifle still in her hands. You're talking to it like it's a person. Maybe it is, Ji-hai said. Warhounds are engineered to be intelligent. Some people say they're as smart as us, or smarter. The Valari just don't treat them like it. The shuttle took off. Kalos Prime shrank below them. Soon it was just another dot among the stars. Hyan stayed with the warhound through the night. He watched Ji-hai work. She cleaned wounds. She set broken bones as best she could. She fought against the termination implant that kept trying to kill the creature. At some point, Hyan fell asleep sitting against the wall. He woke to a voice. Why? Hyan opened his eyes. The warhound was looking at him. Its eyes were clearer now, brighter, and its mouth had moved. The word had come from some kind of speaker in its throat. You can talk? Hyan sat up straight. Warhounds are not permitted to speak to handlers. The voice was rough, deep, like stones grinding together, only to receive commands. But you are not handlers. You are humans. That's right. I'm Hyan. This is Ji-hai. Hyan spoke slowly and clearly. We're going to help you. The warhound was quiet for a moment. Why? It asked again. I am enemy. I am weapon. I have killed many. Why do you help me? Hyan thought about the question. It was a good question. Why was he helping? The smart thing would be to leave the creature behind. The safe thing. The easy thing. But Hyan had never been good at doing the easy thing. Because you needed help, he said finally. Because nobody else was going to. Because leaving you to die alone felt wrong. He shrugged. I don't know if those are good reasons. But they're my reasons. The warhound stared at him. Its purple eyes seemed to look right through him. Looking for lies. Looking for tricks. I do not understand humans, it said at last. Hyan smiled. That's okay. Most of the time, we don't understand ourselves either. He reached out slowly and touched the creature's armored head, gently. Rest now. You're safe. Nobody's going to hurt you anymore. The warhound made a low sound. Not a growl. Something softer. Almost like a sigh. Its eyes closed. The journey back to Station Harmony took 3 days. For Jihai, those 3 days were the hardest of her life. She barely slept. She barely ate. Every moment was spent trying to keep the warhound alive. The creature's biology was strange. Its blood was blue and thick like oil. Its bones were made of something harder than any earth animal. Its organs were arranged in ways that made no sense to Jihai at first. But she learned. She had to learn. Every time she made a mistake, the warhound's life was in danger. The worst part was the termination implant. It was a small device, buried deep in the creature's brain. Every few minutes, it would send an electrical signal that tried to stop the heart. Every few minutes, Jihai had to fight against it. She created drugs that blocked the signals. She built machines that interrupted the electricity. But nothing worked for long. The implant kept adapting, kept finding new ways to try to kill. On the second day, Jihai made a decision. I have to remove it, she told Hyan. The implant. If I don't take it out, it will eventually succeed. The creature will die. Hyan looked at the warhound. It was awake now, watching them with those intelligent purple eyes. It had not spoken again since that first night. But it listened. It understood. Can you do it? Hyan asked. I don't know. I've never done brain surgery before. Not on humans. Definitely not on aliens. Jihai's hands were shaking. She was scared. But she was also determined. But I have to try. Hyan nodded. He turned to the warhound. Did you hear that? Jihai wants to help you. She needs to operate on your brain. It will be dangerous. But if she doesn't do it, you will die. The warhound was silent for a long moment. Then it spoke. Do it. Are you sure? There's a chance you won't survive. I am already dead. The creature's voice was flat. The Valari declared it. My handlers confirmed it. I am non-recoverable. Asset terminated. Something changed in its eyes. A spark of something. But I'm still here. And if there is a chance to live, I want to live. Jihai prepared her tools. Subin helped, even though her hands were shaking too. Donghyan stood guard at the door, trying not to look. Hyan stayed near the warhound's head, talking to it softly. What's your name? Hyan asked. Your designation is Unit 7 Kira, right? But what do you call yourself? Warhounds do not have names. Only designations. That doesn't seem right. Everyone should have a name. Hyan thought for a moment. Kira. I like that part. It means ray of light in an old Earth language. Is it okay if we call you Kira? The warhound considered this. Kira. Yes, I like this. Okay, Kira. Jihai is going to start now. I'm going to stay right here with you. You're not alone. Do you understand? You're not alone anymore. The surgery took 6 hours. Jihai worked with steady hands despite her fear. The implant was tiny, smaller than a fingernail, but it was connected to dozens of neural pathways. Removing it without causing brain damage was almost impossible. But Ji-Hai did it. When she finally pulled the small device free, she collapsed against the wall. Tears ran down her face. Her whole body was shaking. Is it over? Hyan asked. It's over. The implant is out. Ji-Hai looked at the warhound. Its eyes were closed. Its breathing was steady. Now we wait and see if she wakes up. The wait lasted 12 hours. When Kira finally opened her eyes, the first thing she saw was Ji-Hai sitting beside her, holding one of her massive paws in her small human hands. Welcome back, Ji-Hai said with a tired smile. How do you feel? Kira was quiet for a moment. She seemed to be checking her body, testing her thoughts. Different, she said finally. The voice is gone. What voice? The one that told me to kill. The one that told me to obey. It was always there, since I was born, telling me what to do, what to think, what to feel. Kira's eyes met Ji-Hai's. It is silent now. For the first time, my thoughts are my own. Ji-Hai squeezed the massive paw gently. Good, that's good. On the third day, Station Harmony appeared on the screens. It was a large circular structure floating in space, home to 50,000 humans and a few hundred aliens from friendly species. It was far from Earth, on the edge of known space, a place where humanity was trying to establish itself among the stars. Lieutenant Cho contacted the station authorities. Within an hour, Hyan received a message ordering him to report to command immediately upon arrival. You're in trouble, Subin said. I know. They might arrest you, court-martial you. This could end your career. I know. Hyan looked at Kira. The warhound was watching him with something that might have been worry. But some things are more important than careers. When the shuttle docked, military police were waiting. They took Hyan away. They tried to take Kira too, but she growled at them. A real growl this time. Deep and dangerous. The police stepped back. I will go peacefully, Kira said. But only with the one called Ji-Hai. She is my healer. I trust her. The police looked at each other. They had never dealt with anything like this before. Finally, they agreed that Kira was taken to a medical facility. Ji-Hai stayed with her. Hyan was taken to a small room where he sat for hours, waiting. Finally, an officer came in. Admiral No Hei-jin, the highest authority on Station Harmony. She was an older woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She sat across from Hyan and stared at him for a long moment. Do you know how much trouble you've caused? She asked. Yes, Admiral. The Valari are demanding we return their property. The Galactic Council is threatening sanctions. 3 different species have warned us that taking this creature is an act of aggression. Admiral No leaned forward. So tell me, Sergeant Park, why? Why risk everything for an alien weapon? Hyan met her eyes. Because she's not just a weapon, Admiral. She's a person. She thinks. She feels. She was afraid to die alone, and nobody else was going to save her. Admiral No studied him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she smiled. Good answer, Sergeant. She stood up. Get some rest. Tomorrow we have a lot of work to do. If we're going to protect this creature, we're going to have to convince the entire galaxy that she deserves protection. Hyan blinked. You're helping us? Someone has to stand up for what's right. Admiral No walked to the door. Besides, I've read Ji-Hai's reports. That creature chose to speak, chose to trust, chose to live. Those are. The message from the Valari Empire arrived 1 week after Kira came to Station Harmony. It was addressed to the United Earth Coalition and marked as urgent. Ambassador Kang Mi-young, read it aloud to the Emergency Council meeting. The Valari Empire demands the immediate return of Military Asset Unit 7 Kira. This asset is the property of the Empire. Its removal from the battlefield constitutes theft. Failure to comply will result in severe diplomatic consequences. The council room was silent. 20 human leaders sat around the long table. Some looked worried. Some looked angry. Some looked scared. "They're calling her property," Hyan said. He had been invited to the meeting as a witness. "She's not property. She's a living being." "The Valari don't see it that way," Admiral No said. "To them, warhounds are tools, like guns or ships. They don't recognize them as people." Ambassador Kang tapped her fingers on the table. She was thinking hard. "But the Valari signed the Universal Rights Accord. We all did. Every species in the Galactic Council. So the Accord says that all sentient beings have the right to self-determination, the right to choose their own fate." Ambassador Kang smiled slowly. "If we can prove that Kira is sentient, that she thinks and feels and makes her own choices, then she has rights. Legal rights. And one of those rights is asylum." The debate lasted for hours. Some council members argued that fighting the Valari was too dangerous. Humanity was still new to the galaxy. They had few allies. The Valari Empire was powerful and old and cruel. Starting a conflict over one alien creature seemed foolish, but others disagreed. They said that humanity had to stand for something. If humans abandoned their principles, the moment things got difficult, what were they worth? If they let the Valari take Kira back to be destroyed, they were no better than the Valari themselves. In the end, the vote was unanimous. Humanity would protect Kira. Ambassador Kang wrote the official response herself. It was short and clear. The individual known as Kira has requested asylum under the Universal Rights Accord. As a sentient being capable of independent thought and choice, she has the right to self-determination. Her request has been granted. She is now under the protection of the United Earth Coalition. The Valari were furious. They sent angry messages. They threatened war. They demanded justice. But the other species of the galaxy were watching. Some were surprised. Some were curious. A few, the ones who had suffered under Valari cruelty, were pleased. For the first time, someone had stood up to the Empire. Someone had said no. Kira did not understand any of this at first. Politics and diplomacy were strange concepts to her. She had been made for war, not for words. But slowly, she learned. And slowly, she healed. Engineer Shin Tae-yang designed new legs for her. The broken ones could not be fixed, so he built artificial ones. It took him 3 months of studying her body, learning how she moved, understanding how her muscles worked. The result was beautiful. Metal legs that looked almost natural. Stronger than her original ones. Better. When Kira walked for the first time on her new legs, she cried. Warhounds were not supposed to cry. They were not supposed to feel emotions like that. But Kira was not just a warhound anymore. She was something new. Ji-hai became her constant companion. The young medic visited every day. She taught Kira about humans, their history, their culture, their strange customs. Kira learned about music and art and food. She learned about love and friendship and family. What is family? Kira asked one day. Family is the people who care about you, Ji-hai explained. Sometimes they're related to you by blood, but sometimes they're just people who choose to love you. People who will protect you no matter what. Kira thought about this. Like you and Hyan? And the others? Ji-hai smiled. Yes, like us. Hyan brought his daughter to visit sometimes. Park Yuna was 5 years old, small and fearless. The first time she saw Kira, she ran straight up to the massive warhound and hugged her leg. You're so big, Yuna said with delight. Can you carry me on your back? Please, 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 please. Hyan started to apologize. but Kira lowered herself to the ground. "Climb on, little one." Yuna squealed with joy as she scrambled onto Kira's back. Hyun watched with wonder as the warhound, once a feared killer, walked slowly and carefully around the room with his giggling daughter on her back. "She's gentle," Hyun said softly. "She was always gentle," Jihai replied. "The Valari just never let her show it." One evening, Kira and Hyun sat together in the station's garden dome. Real plants grew here. Trees and flowers and grass. Kira liked this place. It reminded her of planets she had seen during wars, but without the death and fire. "You are so fragile," Kira said, watching some children play nearby. "Your lives are so short. Your bodies are so weak. How have humans survived?" Hyun thought about the question. "We take care of each other. When one of us falls, others pick them up. When one of us is hurt, others heal them. We're not strong alone, but together, we're strong enough." The Valari say this is foolishness. They say compassion is weakness. That kindness makes you vulnerable. Maybe they're right. Hyun shrugged. "But I'd rather be kind and vulnerable than cruel and strong." Kira was silent for a long moment. She watched the children laugh and play. She watched the adults talking and smiling. She felt the warmth of the artificial sun on her skin. "I was made to be a weapon," she said finally. "I was made to kill and destroy. I thought that was all I could ever be." She turned to look at Hyun with her purple eyes. "But you showed me something different. You showed me that I could choose. That I could be more than what they made me." She lowered her great head until it rested near Hyun's shoulder. A gesture of trust. A gesture of love. "You saved my life," Kira said. "But more than that, you gave me a reason to live. You gave me a family." Her voice grew soft. "I do not have the words to thank you properly. So I will say this instead. I will protect you. All of you. Until my last breath. This is my choice. My promise." Hyun put his hand on her armored head. "And we'll protect you too, Kira. That's what family does." They sat together in silence as the artificial sun set, painting the dome in colors of gold and pink. Somewhere nearby, Yuna laughed at something. Jihai was telling a story to some of the other children. Kira closed her eyes and felt something she had never felt before. Peace. She was home. 5 years passed. Kira grew stronger, happier. She became famous across the galaxy as the warhound who chose freedom. Some species admired her. Some feared her. The Valari hated her. She was proof that their weapons could think, could feel, could rebel. But Kira did not care about fame or politics. She cared about her family. Yuna was 10 years old now. She visited Kira almost every day after school. They would walk through the station together, the giant warhound and the small human girl. People would stop and stare. Some would smile. Kira had become part of the community, part of the family. Jihai had become the station's chief medical officer. She was still small, still gentle, still brave. She had written papers about warhound biology that scientists across the galaxy read with amazement. But she still made time to sit with Kira and talk. Just like in the old days, Hyun had been promoted to captain. He led a larger team now. More responsibilities, more duties. But he always found time for Kira. They were pack. After all, family. Nothing changed that. Then the Valari attacked. The target was New Bizin, a human colony on a planet called Hannah. 20,000 people lived there. Families, children, farmers and teachers and builders. People who had never hurt anyone. The Valari sent 50 warships. They said it was punishment. Punishment for stealing their property. Punishment for making them look weak. Punishment for showing that their warhounds were people, not tools. The news reached Station Harmony at midnight. Admiral No called an emergency meeting. Every available ship was ordered to New Bizen. Every soldier was called to duty. Kira was there when Hyan received his orders. "I'm going," she said. It was not a question. Hyan looked at her. 5 years ago, she had been a broken creature dying alone on a battlefield. Now she stood tall and strong, her new legs gleaming, her eyes bright with purpose. "Kira, you don't have to." "Yes, I do." Kira's voice was firm. "The Valari are attacking because of me. Because humans protected me. Those people on New Bizen are in danger because of choices you made for me." She stepped closer to Hyan. "Let me fight for you. Let me protect you the way you protected me." Hyan put his hand on her head. "Together, then." Like always. The battle for New Bizen was the worst fighting humans had ever seen. The Valari landed ground troops by the thousands. They had tanks and walkers and weapons that could melt steel. They had other warhounds too, still controlled by their handlers, still following orders without question. The humans were outnumbered 10 to 1. But they did not run. They did not surrender. They fought for every street, every building, every life, and Kira fought with them. She was different from the Valari warhounds. They were slaves, doing what they were told. She was free, fighting for what she loved. They were alone, each one just a tool for their handlers. She was part of something bigger. She had a pack, a family, a purpose. The first enemy warhound she faced was young, fresh from the breeding factories. It growled at her and prepared to attack. "You do not have to do this," Kira told it. "You can choose. You can be free." The young warhound hesitated. Something flickered in its eyes. Confusion. Doubt. For a moment, Kira thought it might listen. Then the termination implant activated. The young creature screamed and collapsed. Its handlers had killed it rather than risk it being turned. Kira felt rage burn inside her. These were her people. Her kind. And the Valari murdered them without a second thought. She fought harder after that. Not to kill, but to end the battle. To stop the suffering. To protect the innocent. The turning point came at the civilian evacuation center. Jihai was there, helping load families onto transport ships. Children were crying. Parents were carrying what little they could save. The noise was terrible. Then the Valari ground commander arrived. He was tall and thin, with cold black eyes. He saw Kira standing between his forces and the humans. "Unit 7 Kira," he said. "You were terminated 5 years ago. You should not exist." "I was saved," Kira replied, "by people who saw me as more than a weapon, who treated me with kindness when they had no reason to." "Kindness?" The commander made a sound of disgust. "Kindness is weakness. These humans are weak. They will fall, and you will be destroyed with them." Kira stood firm. Behind her, Jihai was still loading children onto ships. Yuna was there too, helping carry supplies, even though she was scared. Hyan and his soldiers held defensive positions, waiting. "You are wrong," Kira said. "Kindness is not weakness. Kindness is strength. It takes more courage to love than to hate. More strength to protect than to destroy. Pretty words. They will not save you. No." Kira lowered herself into a fighting position. Her new legs hummed with power. Her eyes blazed bright purple. "But I will save them, because they're my family, and I will die before I let you hurt them." The battle lasted 3 more hours. Kira fought like nothing the Valari had ever seen. She was not just a weapon anymore. She was a guardian. Every move she made was to protect. Every attack was to save lives, not take them. She did not fight with rage or hatred. She fought with love. In the end, the Valari retreated. Their commander was dead. Their forces were broken. They had expected humans to surrender. They had expected weakness. They found something else entirely. When the suns rose over New Bizen, the human flag still flew. The evacuation ships had escaped safely. Thousands of lives had been saved. And Kira stood among the defenders, wounded but alive. Hyan found her sitting near the evacuation center. Yuna was already there, hugging Kira's leg. Ji-Hai was bandaging one of her wounds. "You did it," Hyan said. "We did it." Kira looked at the humans around her. Soldiers tending to wounds. Families reuniting. Children laughing with relief. Together. Hyan sat beside her, just like he had 5 years ago on that distant battlefield. "Thank you, Kira, for everything. Thank you." Kira rested her head near his shoulder. "For seeing me. For saving me. For showing me what it means to be more than what I was made to be." They sat together as the morning light grew stronger. Somewhere in the distance, birds were singing. Life was returning to normal. Yuna climbed onto Kira's back, like she had done so many times before. "Kira, are you okay?" "I am now, little one." Kira made the sound that her family recognized as laughter. "I am now." Ji-Hai finished her bandaging and sat down with them. "The galaxy is watching, you know? What happened here today? A warhound fighting to protect humans. Choosing love over programming. It's going to change things." "I hope so," Kira said. "I hope other warhounds will see. Will understand. Will know that they can choose too." Hyan smiled. "That's the human way. We change things. Little by little. Person by person. We make the galaxy better. Then I am proud to be part of it." Kira looked at her family. Her pack. Her home. "I think I have been human for a while now." The war with the Valari would continue. There would be more battles. More struggles. More sacrifices. But something had changed. The galaxy had seen what kindness could do. What love could build. What one abandoned creature and the humans who saved her could become together. And that was just the beginning.